I'm going to mute everybody, all right?
Okay.
All right, I guess now it's probably going to be a little bit better now that you guys can see the screen. So I'm just going to go right through here. So we've got the outline, and here basically what we're talking about, the architecture and everything. And again, that Trish and Eric were fundamental in it, and not just doing your best, but knowing what to do. And here we've got the Old Testament and the New Testament. And here we've got the ASCA National Model and how we built SCUTA on it, and the categories and how it interacts with the school counselors, and how the use of time analysis then is calculated and shared with the manager, and the vision, the mission, and the goals can be bidirectional, and the annual administrative conference, and that the statistics can be shared and reported by the school counselors, by school, by level, meaning high school, middle school, elementary, school district, by state, by country. And here we've got the state, again, the different graphic on showing how the information is being shared, and the pricing. And this is where we were. So we've got the manager license, which is currently free for everybody and for managers and universities. We've got the ASCA National Model, the Pro license, which is, let's see here, Trish texted me again. I just want to see that. Okay, she sees it now. Okay, good. So that Pro is 125 and Max is 195, and the difference really is tremendous. In Pro, all you really have on the school side are the users, and on Max we've got everything that you need really for the ramp version. We have the ramp version, which is only for when you need to apply for ramp. And the application is prorated throughout the year, meaning if you're halfway through the year, you'd pay half price. So Pro, if you're halfway into it in January, for example, it would be $62.50, and Max would be $97.50. And we have Google Calendars. We've got the Google Calendar add-on, the Outlook Calendar add-on, scheduling. Now we're finalizing SMS and surveys. So for high schools, it's a great thing to communicate with the students with SMS instead of through email. SCUTA University, we've got the instructors are just the managers, and they communicate with the students, who then communicate with their schools, and so all the school counseling training that they get, they can then work with the schools. And we could also do research where data is coming from the schools back to the instructors. All this, again, is free. And they have all the functionality. And also for the graduates, they could renew their license for the following year for $50. SCUTA is in all 50 states, and we're in 54 different countries. And now just a little bit about how the architecture is set up. So what we're looking at is really starting off with analyzing, looking at the school data, the vision and the mission and the beliefs. And then from there, really, that's the fundamentals. Looking at that now, we'll be able to look at individuals and with groups and come up with their goals. We create them, we make those goals into SMART goals basically by taking a snapshot of where we are and the snapshot of where we want them to be. And then through the research at the University of Chicago, I think that was the fundamental part that ASCA used to create their mindsets and behaviors. And now the mindsets really and behaviors are the tool that, or the knowledge, the skill that if we gave to the students, they'd be able to accomplish specific tasks. So what we want to do is to match the goals that we have with these mindsets and behaviors. And now, how do we convey this knowledge, this skill to the student? We use the developmental learning and counseling and the educational theories to convey that. And how do we do that? Primarily through lesson plans. So now we need to have the lesson plans, to identify lesson plans that have these mindsets and behaviors. And when we're doing this, that would be Tier 1 and Tier 2 approach. And after we do a lesson plan, what we want to do is take a snapshot before take a snapshot after, and now we'd be able to figure out the effect that the lesson plan had on the student. And then by taking this feedback, we could update and improve the lesson plans. And things that don't work in Tier 1 and Tier 2, we could bump up to Tier 3. And finally, we do the reporting of the results. As far as the vision, now I just want to go through this one more time. And when we're looking at this, when we're identifying the mindsets and behaviors and we've got the lessons, and it can be more than one lesson, it's important here to note that the pre and the post testing is very important, because that's going to give us I've got the lesson pre and the lesson post, and I'm showing you the percent change, which basically is the pre minus the post divided by the pre. So now what we've got here is, actually I've got that the other way around. It should be the post minus the pre divided by the pre. So that's the effectiveness. And now we're looking at the SMART goal effectiveness. And the SMART goal effectiveness really, again, is we're starting off at where we have the SMART goal, and we'll take a snapshot. And that would be our precondition. And then at the end, we want to find the result. So that's the effectiveness, again, of the SMART shot, of our SMART goals. So this one's correct. So we've got the post minus the pre divided by the pre. Back to Deming for a sec. You can't manage, okay, what you can't measure. So if you're looking at managing people's time and the effectiveness of them, if you don't have ways of recording that, you can't really manage the process or the results. So everybody knows what SNL is, right? It's SCUTA Now Live. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into SCUTA now. All right, so basically, so we've got the mission statement here. We've got the use of time analysis here, and notice that it's showing us 90% or more here. So this basically is because if I'm looking, I'm suspecting that this is in the state that's got 90 instead of 80%. And here, let me just see real quick. So if I come here and I click on the profile, and we could see it's Arkansas. So let me just change this, and I'll put it into Pennsylvania. So 18055, and I'll pick a school, Saucon Valley Elementary, and I'll just hit save. And we'll go back into the dashboard, and now it's 80%. Okay, so this percentage gets adjusted based on the state that we're in. So right now that was for Pennsylvania. So we can go into the profile here, and we could see under the account, here we've got the information. So this is the user's name, email address, the phone number, and all that kind of stuff. And here we could put anything like a principal's name. And Trish, I'm just going to make you the principal, and I'll hit save. Okay, and here we can have dates and say the beginning of the school year, the end of the school year, your school hours. So right now it's saying it's from 7 o'clock until 3 o'clock, and when they are. So you could have it so that some people are there Monday, Wednesday, Friday if they're sharing a school, so they could actually use that, and they could have like a piggyback and so on and so on. Here's where we have the information for the students, how many students they have, and appointments, calendars, buy-ins, and everything else. So let's go right to the calendar. So we're in the calendar. We have a couple of events, and now I can create an event. Let's just say that we're going to create something here. I click, drag, release, and there's instruction. There's the assembly. So here are where we've got the categories, the 7 ASCA categories plus 1 special. And if you're somewhere where you're not familiar, you could just hover over it, and we've got a description for you. So we could go there, and you can see the descriptions. So I'll just pick, I guess, appraisal. And now notice that we've got topics here. So you could pick anything from this topic. So if you're looking at appraisal, then you'd have a subtopic here, and it's telling us what it is. Let's say it's inventory, and you could create this event. So I can create this event. Now that I've created the event, I could increase the size, decrease the size. I could edit it. I could move it around. And I can create another event after it. And let's go in and go to counseling. So in counseling, notice we've got a lot more information here. I could pick, let's say, a group, and I could put a referral, and I could have a focus, and let's say that it's anger management, and I could look here for a lesson. I could just create a new one, anger about web technology. Okay, or conferencing, video conferencing technology, and I can have a pre and a post, and I can have a description with Trish, and I could pick a student here, and I'll pick Becky Love, and I could actually email her an event right here. I can have my confidential note, and this is it. And I could make it repeated. I could add an event or something, a file or anything, and I just hit save. And since it's future event, Becky's actually going to get an email with me with a description of all these things. So and I just did that by creating the event. I'll go on and create a couple of more other events, and let's go into indirect student services. And you can see here we've got, I don't know, court donations, anything, home visit, and I'll just hit save. I'll create the next event, and this time it's going to be direct. And again, I could have meetings. I could have my advisory council meetings. I could do bully counseling session planning. And I'll pick another one. And let's say it's fair share responsibility. And I'm going to pick another one. And let's say this time it's non-school counseling. And so on. So now I could look at this, and notice here there's a little holder. It tells me that I've got a lesson plan. I could look at my statistics in real time here by clicking here. And it's telling me I've got 64%, 27%, and 9%. I could notice I could adjust these, increase these, and this calculates on the fly. So you can see now that I've got these events. So now I've got orange, green, and yellow. So this is showing me my statistics, live. So that's how we create events. And one more thing, I could show you a quick way of doing this. So I could start here, instruction, and instead of hitting save, I'm going to hit save and new. And this is a 1-hour event, and it's predicting that the next one's going to be following it. So I could now pick, let's say I'm doing appraisal. I could hit save and new. I could pick the next one, counseling, save and new. Next one, indirect, save and new. Next one, define, manage, save and new. And we can go with fair share responsibility, save and new. I could even make these shorter. So I can make this one, let's say non-school counseling, and I hit save and we're done. So that's kind of like how it works. And we can create, let's say I'm just going to pick somebody here, and I'm going to go with counseling, and I'm going to have individual, and let's say that it's self, and it's conflict resolution, and has some conflict. And I'll just pick somebody, Lisa, and loves ice cream. And I can make that a repeat event if I want to. And I'll just do daily. I could do anything I want here. It's a combination. We'll just go with daily, and I'm going to make it last until Thursday, and I'll hit save. So we've got these different events with Lisa, and I could move one or all of them, and I can increase the size. So they're all kind of independent events, and I could change this. I could say this time it was Lisa and Alan Iverson, and hit save. So it's very flexible, and so that's pretty much any questions on the calendar? Trish, I got you there. Okay. So I'm going to go to reports, and let's look at the use of time analysis report here. So on the use of time analysis report, what we've got is it's just showing us the categories, the 80-20 and the 0 non-school counseling. This is our goal. So this is the actual. We've got 68, 17, 11, and 6. And here's your percentage of time, your hours, and your frequency. Let me just go and change the calendar real quick and create a couple of non-school counseling events. And I'll just come here and go in and say non-school counseling. And I'm going to make it a repeat daily so that we just have it on the calendar, and we'll go until Friday. And this time I'll pick a 504, and so there we've created the event. So I can click on this one and change it from 504 to disciplinary investigation, and just that one, and make this one student discipline. And so we've got a couple of events here, and I'll do one more, and I'll make that one therapy. Okay. And now if we go back into the report and we look at the use of time analysis, here we've got 8% non-school counseling tasks. And if you remember, we had in the profile, let's just go to the profile real quick. When we're looking at the profile and we're looking at the dates and times, we specified the school hours. So school hours is 7:30 to 3 p.m. When we look at the calendar, you can see that before 7:30 it's grayed out, and after 3 p.m. it's grayed out again. Let's go to the reports and go to the use of time analysis. So in the use of time analysis part, we've got all hours. We can go during school hours, and it's giving us a different result. We can go outside school hours and show a different result. So you can see all the details here. We could then go to Pareto Analysis, and this is showing us what they're comprised of. So you can see that the 504, we've got disciplinary investigation. Oh, everything is based on the calendar here. So we could specify this week. So this is what we have. So you can see we've got 61% is 504. We've got disciplinary investigation. We've got student discipline and therapy. These are the items that we just created. And notice here on the program manager, we've got advisory council meeting, attendance planning, and counseling. And here we've got indirect student services. And we've got the Pareto analysis. This is the direct student services that we have. As far as the calendar goes, you can go back into the calendar real quick, and notice here you can see people's names. So here it says Trish, and here we've got Lisa. And sometimes you don't want that to be visible, so if you click here on the eyes, notice what happens. So the names are removed, so you've got confidentiality right here. So you have a confidential mode that's built into the application. And when we go to the reports, we can go, for example, to the activity log. And in the activity log, it's telling us, again, who it is, the referral source, the lesson, the description, the notes, and the student. See, here's Lisa. And I can sort by name. So here are all of the student names during this time period that we specified. When I click on the I, all the students are gone. All the names are gone. It's the same report, and the notes are gone.
Can I ask you quickly?
Yes?
One of them said that if there is calendar interfacing, do other people get to see the non-confidential data? How does that work?
No. You're the only one that can see the confidential information. Okay. Let's define confidential information for a sec. As far as the students and all these kinds of things, let's say you're in control of everything. The only thing that you can't share are your notes. Your notes are only visible to you. I could come here and print a report, okay, the activity log, for example, and the activity log now is going to show me information that we have. And if I have the confidentiality mode on, if I have the eye on, it's going to show me the student names, and it's going to show me the notes. If I have confidentiality off, it takes the notes off and the students off. So that, does that answer the question?
Yes, it does. And then I'm going to keep, there
Yes, and here it is. Okay, this is the Google Calendar add-on. If I click it, it's going to sync with my calendar if I click these items. So it brings things in and out. I just don't want to do it right now because I just don't want to do it right now. For example, this is a Google Calendar event. You can see the icons there. Okay, this is the demo account, so it would bring everything in here. Does that answer the question?
Interrupt the rest of your activity, so let me know when you're ready for more questions that aren't exactly on that screen.
Okay. One thing that I want to go through is here's documentation. So for example, Tristan, since I have you here, right, here's the manual, okay? And now one of the things that people find a little difficult in the beginning is to figure out where certain things are. So for example, you can go to find topic here, and let's just say that you're looking for where is the 504. And now you can see what the description is. You've got the category indirect student services and non-school counseling tasks. And as you know, Trish, I mean, 504 in its purest form, in the complete form has a secretarial part, a administration part, a teacher part, a school counselor part, and other things. So if the school counselor is doing all of those things, we classify it, they have the opportunity of classifying as non-school counseling. If they're only doing the school counseling part, then they could classify it as school counseling. And
okay, one more question about the Outlook calendar.
Yes.
They want to know in reverse. If they put something in Google or Outlook, will it in reverse go to SCUTA?
Yes.
It only works the other way.
Yes. So for example, here, if you look, and I'm in confidential mode, so if you noticed before, I could authenticate here. So you can import and export. So you could import from Google Calendar to SCUTA, and you could export from SCUTA to Google Calendar and to Outlook. And what we do actually is in the Google or in Outlook, we create a SCUTA calendar. So you could enable that and disable that. So that way it doesn't really affect anything else. Is that clear?
Do you have any districts having any issues with students' names being added to this? Have you run through that at all?
No. And we've got different ways of dealing with that. Here under schools and students and groups, this is where we have the student information. And so you could use the student name. You could have student ID. Now these IDs are, we can have self-generated IDs, okay? So as far as the naming goes, what happens is if it's an individual, you could import it from your student information support system. If it's a school district, normally the IT department will do that. And we sign the confidentiality agreements and all that kind of stuff as far as sharing student information. If you go to SCUTA, yes, if you go to myscuta.com, at the bottom, here's where we have our privacy. And you'll see here it's COPA and FERPA and GDPR. Okay. This is what I was talking about as far as reports. Okay. I'll go back into reports real quick. I just want to show you a couple of quick reports. Student contact is one where it shows you how many students you're contacting. And it disaggregates by male and female right here, and you could do it by other things. And it shows you individual and in group. Your goal at the end of the year is to have this 100%. A quick way of looking at...
I'm having a little PTSD from that graph, sorry.
Okay, no problem. So here...
Because it looks very much like what we're seeing on TV.
Okay, so here is where you're able to look at the student Pareto. So this is telling you during this time period, again, who you've met with the most. It seems like Lisa and Becky Love and Ellen Iverson during that time period. If I change this to last month, you'll see it's Allen Iverson, Mary Poppins, and so on and so on. So let's go back to this week because this is the data that we put in together. Notice how fast you could do that. You know, so you could do this for this school year, and it shows you everything for the school year. You could go to last school year and show you everything. We didn't have any information last year. Okay, so this school year. We could show you student and group. That's the one that gives you PTSD. If you're going here, we could look, for example, what have you done with Allen Iverson, okay, during this time period. And also he's in Mary Poppins 4th grade, and is also in the anger group. So notice how quickly it shows you all these things, and you can see all the details right here of everything that you've done with him. So,
I have another question.
yes.
Can it import into Aries?
We are actually talking with the guy from Aries, which we met at your conference, and we're going to be actually doing a very close integration with them, which is very exciting. So you know the guy, and and Trish, he seems like a real nice guy.
Yeah, well, Becky's our contact there. She's been hanging out with him for a while.
Great, great. So we've got a whole bunch of lessons here. I'm going to go into something I think a little more interesting for a sec.
Now that we said that, though, everybody else wants to know about Infinite Campus or Q or things, other things, you know.
Right. So what we're doing is we're doing the integration part that is common among all of them. So it's called Quick Roster. I think it's so yes, we have a way of integrating. Our goal is to have that done by the end of this year. So.
Well, I'm just wondering, do you have a list currently of any of the interfaces with us that you currently have or that you use? That would help us because then as we're beginning to support willingness out of the districts we're working with, we would want to pick those districts that have, you know, the ability to do that first, probably, because that would help them really see the power of it. Because the true power behind this, for me, I mean, I love all of the other, what percentage did I spend in each thing, but to me, I want to know, is it making a difference? I want to see outcomes. My fantasy has always been, for 20 years, to know, can we calculate impact based on students being counseled by counselors? And if you can make all that work, man, you've got the Holy Grail.
Right. And let me go through and share a couple of things, and I hear you. So we're going into school now. Okay. Oh, by the way, we integrate with all the student information support systems. It's a simple export through a CSV file and import into SCUTA. So we already have that part. It's the other integration, the integration that you just spoke about, as far as like integrating with grades and stuff like that, that we need to work on. So as far as importing and exporting students, we have that for every school district and every student information support system. So here we're starting off with beliefs, and we've got the individual beliefs, and this is like our interface. We've got a tab here in the edit. So if you click on the edit, you can see here what the individual belief is. So you can type it here. Helpful things are key phrases. So you'd identify like the important parts here that you could use. This comes into play when you're doing your RAMP application. And here, these are the mindsets you could, from ASCA, you could check them on and check them off as you wish. And now they're incorporated here, so you see the ones that you've included and not. When you're looking at the vision statement, and again, content-wise, it's up to the person to write it, but we're enabling people. So for example, we just changed to Pennsylvania here. Automatically, we show you the state of Pennsylvania's vision and mission. So if you click on this, it'll take us to Department of Education. This is the source that we had. So there's the vision and the mission. And here we've got the school, and we've got the school counseling program, and we got the narrative and all that kind of stuff. So here you've got an edit, so you can see this is how you enter the information. Similarly with the mission, here's again Pennsylvania Department of Education. It shows you the school district, school, and the school counseling program. Here now we've got the data. And Trish, you're still on the phone, right?
Oh, yeah, that's me. I'm on the phone.
Good. So Trish, you're going to help me out here. So I'm going to go into data, and now here's the edit. So now here we've got, we could show you, identify who in the building is important to you. So you could specify that. You could.
Before I forget, I'm too darn ADD to remember. Go to the top right there, Steve. That word principal is misspelled, just so you know. Catching it with my eye jumped at me.
Okay, there. Okay.
Yeah, I'll forget to tell you later, but that's
No problem. Okay, so now here you could do review school data and what's working, what needs improvement, and identify underperforming groups, compare, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And now your priorities. So Trish, let's come up with a priority. What would you like to do? We're going to create something new. So now here are your options. Whatever you want. Let's, yeah. Okay, very good. Discipline. Okay, so now it's third grade. Okay, and is that going to be, we'll make that a priority 1 or 2, active. And we could say Trish wants this, okay? And now we just added it, okay? And actually we'll make this one a 2, so that way it's, okay. So now let's going to go with the discipline. So now, Trish, we could actually create a survey for that. And let's just go in with new. And this is going to be discipline. And I'll keep it, and I'll say Trish here. And the directions, please fill out. Okay. And I could go hatching results. .com, right? And thanks. And five scale Likert, good for you? Okay, what do you want here? Agreement, approval, awareness, familiarity, importance? Agreement, okay. And do you want to change anything?
No, I like the top one.
Okay, I'm just going to add disagree big, okay? Now we created it. So now I'm going to create a question. Give me a question. What a statement that they could strongly agree with or disagree with as far as. Say it again.
It's okay to hit somebody if they hit you first.
Okay, I'll abbreviate it. And give me another one. He who hits first wins. Just, there's 2. And do you have a question or put a question to? It's hitting bad, okay? Again, this is nothing, scientific here. We're just creating this, and I could say that this is topic is discipline. Okay, so now we've got that. Now under goals, you were saying that you wanted to create a goal. This is going to be for discipline, correct? So we'll go and create new, and it's going to be
Reduce discipline referrals by 10%.
Discipline referrals, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And now, is that based on data? Yeah, the third grade discipline. Okay. And here we're going to go with discipline, and the data source is going to be?
Whatever they're using.
I'm just going to put discipline log for now. And here, this is going to be social emotional, right? Mindsets and behaviors.
Sure, you can find, just pick a couple, yeah.
Okay. And outcomes. So we did it. Now, we could come here. Now, we've got shared. So if I go to discipline, we actually have one here that Erica created. So we could have used that. So let's go to the SMART goal now. And we're going to create a new one. And now this is taking the end of the school year that we had. And now we're going to go with discipline referrals. And you wanted what? Do you want to go with Mary Poppins 4th grade? Or do you want to create a new group?
I like the anger group we're in.
Anger group. Okay, good. And what is your baseline for this? How many did you have?
Well, let's see. We have a group of 10 kids. They each have approximately 3. So it's an average of 3 per kid or 30 else.
And we want to go down to what?
25 or 30. 20 would be good.
20. Okay. And now notice I didn't do any magic, right? But here it wrote it for me. By the 13th of July, anger group will 33%, right?
Really beautiful.
And now what did you want to do here? Small group?
Yep.
And supplemental data. And now my learning. Again, sorry for the texting here. I'm just doing this to save. And I'm going to hit save. And now in this small group, this is where we are. I could edit this. I could actually go in and create, I can create a survey right for this, and I could do my reflection right here on that, on the SMART goal. So I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah, okay, next question. Can you do pre-post tests that are knowledge-based and multiple choice?
Yes.
Wow, that's good. Okay, I'm just getting all the questions. Target group might need to be more detailed for ramp. Does it interface? Wonder if you can create your own target groups.
Yep.
Yep.
Here, we'll create another one right now, right? So let's go and do another SMART goal. And let's just say that SMART goal new. And this time, let's say that we're going to do, let's see, we can go and, I need somebody to tell me what they would like to do. Well, let's just keep going and then we can come back, okay?
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
So here's your, so now notice here's your mindset action plan. Because we did this with your example, the discipline referral, we know that it was M1 and M3 there, so we know that we need to have that as part of our mindset and behavior action plan, okay? And I notice here that we don't have a lesson and that we don't have it scheduled. If we wanted to, we can go here and create it on our own, so we could just say new, and I could say that I'm going to go for third grade, and my mindset's going to be BL4, and that's academic, and that's it. So that's one of my goals. So we just added it. I'll just create something for 5th grade, and I'm going to go with SMS1 and career, and that's it. So that's how we build the mindset action plan. We can go to lessons now, and in lessons, Trish, we'll create something, a quick lesson now for what you wanted, the discipline, the no hitting, all right? Right. So now new, and I'm going to go in here and Trish, no hit. I'm an engineer guy, so sorry, my writing is not, and here's best, it's a best business practice, and it's resource informed, okay? And here's my activity, and the grades are going to be 4th grade and for 5th grade. And the mindsets and behaviors are going to be, oh, I've got a simpler way of doing this. Instead of building it like that, I can go back to my mindsets and behaviors here. And here's the anger group. This is going to create, see here, it says I don't have a lesson. If I click on it, it created a lesson for me that has those mindsets and behaviors and the grade that I needed.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the social emotional. So, yes, yes, yes. Okay, now, Trish, instructional method. You can pick something. I'm just brainstorming, and I can put the objectives here, curriculum, and hatchingresults.com, correct? Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay, and now I could have the procedure, the introduction, communication, practice, and so on and so on. This. And I'll just hit save here. And now we created this lesson plan. So this is Trish's discipline lesson. So now notice here, I could click on it, and it'll take me to hatching results. I can come here. Now, I'm going to edit this and show you something else. When we come down here to the evaluation part, I could pick here assessment, career, whatever it is, or I could go with survey. And now that I picked survey, I could pick the actual survey. And we did, here we could pick the secondary student attendance survey question, for example. Okay? And I'll just hit save. And so now we've got, so we've created your lesson plan. If I wanted to print this out, I could just click here. And here's the detail of it. I could actually even come to this, to Tricia's plan, and I could say I'm going to share it within my school district or share it with others. So now, if I wanted to, I could have also looked at these shared and look at discipline. And all these are discipline. Or I could look at, for example, anger. And all of these, and you see there's some second step and whatever. So I think anger. Yeah, so for example, here's one. And if you click on the PDF, it'll show you the details of the lesson, the objectives, the materials. There's a link. If I click on the link, it takes me to that page, and so on and so on. So that's where we are.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes?
Do you have anyone on your team who's currently sort of vetting these for, you know, appropriateness for the level that we're looking for? Because one of the things that happened in Naviance is people's lessons became kind of a dumping ground of, you know, everything, and some were good and some weren't. Do you have like a quality control on the lessons and things?
No, but what I do have is I've got Corinne in Stanford University, who's in charge of the learning education program there, that does curriculum development. And we tried to do this at the beginning of the year, but we were unsuccessful. She has a project course where she wants to match school counselors up to students within their program, and they will actually help improve the lesson plans. Now, again, we're looking at, you know, quality. Right now, the first part is having the architecture there and having everything set up so that it can be shared. The improvement process is something that's going to happen with time. Let me just keep going for a second. We'll come back to it, Trish, all right? So here under the annual agreement, for example, I can have my administrative conference here, and I can come in here and specify what my goals are, but if I have my SMART goals, I don't need to put this in because it knows that they are. I can have my use of time and so on and so on. And when I come here, I can go and print. And now this is going to give me my annual agreement. And it's using the data that we have. So the mission statement, here's the targets, here's the discipline referral that we just did together. Here's the mindfulness and the behaviors, and here's the SMART goal that we just did. By the 11th of September 2019, anger students will decrease their disciplinary investment by 33% from 30 to 20. That's what we just did together, Trish.
Right.
And here we got the use of time analysis, the advisory council, and the advisory meetings, and professional development, and the caseload, and the budget, and here's the school counselor, and Trish, principal. That was you there, what we put in, okay?
Okay, you've got a series of questions. Can I ask them?
Sure.
Okay. So one of the question was, can you share the introductory slides that you covered earlier? We want to make sure that we get, because you used
PowerPoint.
earlier in the presentation, we didn't have the right screens, but we want to make sure we get your voice on that as well.
Yes.
And then we wanted to know about what version might be available to my team that's all on this right now and how they would get it and what's the timeline and how long that lasts and all that. So whatever you can tell them about that, because they're excited.
Your team gets SCUTA free forever.
That's very generous. Thank you. Is there levels of SCUTA on it? Like,
We'd give them SCUTA Max.
wow, that's amazing. Can you say the graph reports as PDF?
Yes.
And
Let me just show you while you're thinking. Let me just show you a couple more things real quick, and then can we just hold off on the rest of the questions?
Of course.
Okay, so here, for example, the advisory council. So now, notice we put in your, the people that we're going to attend, and this is how you do it. Oh, and now it's telling us there's 7, so I can just create one. So we've got these types of things throughout, so it prompts you. It should have 8 to 20 members. So I'm going to go new and say Alan Einstein, whatever. And he is a teacher, okay? So now we don't have that, so we've got that. So, and then here's where you build your agendas. The way that this works is, if we look here, I can go to the calendar, for example, and in the event that we had, you see this? This is the advisory council meeting. So when you create this under Define Manage Asset, we've got the advisory council, and you can have 2 types. You can have the planning for it or the actual meeting, okay? So I can take this, for example, let me just move this to the 24th of March. Now when I go back into the school and I go to my annual advisory council meeting, advisory council, you see I've got the 24th right here. And if I click on that, it'll take me to it. So I've got it there. And I've got another advisory council meeting here. I'll just delete this one. Actually, I don't have to. I'll just leave it. So if I come here to my advisory council, here's where you build the agendas. And this is where you'll be putting in, so when you edit, you can build the agendas. This is where you're doing your members. This is where you have your agendas. You can have your reflections and all that kind of stuff. And now, if you wanted to print out, for example, the agenda for this, you just click here, and it's automatically created for you. So here's the agenda. And if you go to the minutes, you just click on the minutes. And if you've created them, it'll show you the minutes. So all that automatically done for you, right? Any questions on any of this? Okay, let's go to the reports then for a sec. You had asked about that. Oh, I could do one more thing that I think would be interesting. Let's go to calendar. And I don't know if you caught this. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to go to group, counseling group. And we're going to do a group, and it's going to be the tardy group, the anger group. And this time I'm going to pick Trish's disciplinary investigation. And I'm going to hit save here. And Trish, I just put some dummy. I can come here, and to fill this information out, watch this. I can click here and have my students take this. Would you guys mind with your phones? Just take out your phones and take a picture of that and fill in the survey real quick. And when you take a picture, it'll pop up the survey. And this is what the survey should be. So I'm just going to pick this. I'm just going to go with ones. I'm going to say watermelon. So when we look, we've actually created this. So nobody took the post. I just put a quick post in. But by using this, I've created this event, and I could right here have my students, without my having to enter anything, take a snapshot and fill this in real time for me with my pre. I can then come back and ask them to fill in the post. If somebody could take the survey here for the post. And what I'm also going to do here is I'm going to, let's see, who do we have? Lisa is there, and I think Terry's there, and we also have Whitney. So I'm going to click here, and now because Lisa, Terry, and Whitney weren't in class, I'm going to email this to them right now. So that's what I just did. So what I just did now is Lisa and Whitney and Terry are going to get an email about this event, and it's going to have a link to the survey that they could fill out offline. Now, so let's just think about what we just did here. Trish, we created the survey, okay? I just went into an event. I picked this lesson that we had that had the survey connected to it, and I clicked here, and now it sent an invitation to the event because it's a future event with a calendar attachment, a 30-minute reminder to the event, and a link to the survey. And let's go now into the reports and look at the survey results. And now I could pick this. And here's the results. So COVID-19. Okay, nice. Okay, so this is so now let's just think about what we just did, guys. I guess I assigned we created one survey and we sent out a different one. Sorry. So in other words, when we did the lesson plan, I didn't pick the survey that we created together, Trish. I picked one that we already had. That's why it had population on it. But yeah, you get the concept. So now notice what we just did. You didn't have to go. The good thing about SCUTA is it integrates everything. In this one simple task, what we did is we went to calendar. We created this one event. And now let's think about what this incorporated. This incorporated a lesson plan. It incorporated the capturing the survey, the capturing of the survey data, the distribution of an email here to the participants with a link to the survey so that those that weren't here could actually do it on their own. And then automatically we went and we did the report for you showing the survey results. So, right? And these are, now we're going to have a word graph that's going to be basically highlighting the most common result here. But here it is analytically what people have said, okay? Now, back to the reports. So for example, somebody had said something about what can I do with the user time report? You could just click all of our reports. You can create them right here. Here they are. And you could email that. And it's pretty clear. Anything else? I guess we could just do, let me quickly summarize for a sec, all right? In the profile, you can go to the profile, and here you could specify your school. Trish, do you have a zip code or anything for a school out there? 92106. Okay, and what school is it? High-Tech High. High-Tech High. So here's where you're basically going to specify your school, okay? And you could specify, you know, the principal and so on and so on. Then on the dates, this is where you specify the beginning of the school year. This is where you specify the end of the school year. These are your school hours. These are the days. Then your students, your appointments, and so on and so on. You could specify your appointments and drop-ins. I'm just going to look at appointments real quick. So I could say here, for example, I've got Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays, and I'm going to take appointments from 10 until 2, and 15-minute increments. I'm going to make that half-an-hour increment, so I get those. And I hit save. And I could do the calendar integration with Google. I could do the buy now and the orders. And now in the school part, I have the beliefs. Everything's laid out for you. So really, it's kind of like everything's got its spot. Oh, Let me just show you one more thing. Let me enable, I'm going to log out here. New incognito. I've got to do something real quick by SCUTA.com. I'm going to enable the ramp part so we can see that real quick, a quick little part of it. And I'm going to go find the user and username. And I'm going to put the ramp part on. And just to show you, so now I'm going to log in and go to SCUTA demo. And now it's a little different. So for example here, if I come in here and I look at my vision, now when I go to the edit, notice I've got reflections here. And not only that, but now I've got this. So it's telling me, all right, I'm missing this part and that part. If I agree with that, notice how how this affects. Do you see how that affects what I have? And I can hit save. I can go to my vision and so on, and it does the same thing. So I could also, in the reports, come down and look at, for example, my action plan, and I could do the PDF. Classroom, this is the groups, mindsets and behaviors. I could go to the calendar review. I could do the annual calendar, and I could print the annual calendar with details, and so on and so on. So that's it. So as far as the questions go, are there questions that I could answer real quick?
There's one question from Felipe a minute back. He was saying he has a small group of third graders and they don't have access to any of their phones. Can I just use my iPad or two to use the QR codes multiple times?
Yes, they could. They could, sure.
They could pass an iPad around?
Yep.
Take it that way?
Yep, no problem.
Okay. Will we have access to the ramp part?
Yes.
Okay. It is set up. It's just the 4th edition and the 3rd edition. How you could ask him since. Yeah. So some people work with the ramp situation. Like we have a couple of trainers who are very expert in ramp and have worked not only for us doing ramp, but also have their own consulting business doing ramp. So I don't know how that would work because if their people aren't using this for that, then it wouldn't be in there.
Well, here's the thing. If they're connected with you, Trish, we want to do everything that we can. So if they're working with a group of people and they don't have SCUTA for the ramp thing, and they're connected with you, we'll give it to them for free.
So we're trying to think about which of our districts we're currently working with, and I need to talk with our trainers about, which do they feel comfortable becoming an expert in it, because we wouldn't want to give it to anybody until we have time for people to be trained, so Nancy and Felipe, thank you, excellent. So just trying to figure out how we can manage that, because that's really exciting. I mean, the partnership with you is something we've been working on for a while, a couple of years now. One of the things that I'm excited about is collecting the data and connecting that. But this is incredibly generous of you, and I imagine there's lots of ways we can partner together in terms of curriculum, quality control, feedback on ramp, all kinds of things, assessments. But the results piece is the one that I'm really excited about. It would be wonderful if I show results and have that then sort of preload into some sort of either results report or a sheet, or a one-pager, or what I mean, something like that for results.
Yeah.
But everybody is writing, thank you, Steve, it's so generous, this is great, I'm excited. They just want a chance to play with it themselves and get more comfortable. That's what we're seeing so far on the chat.
Yeah, there's no problem. And here's the thing. What we're looking at doing, Trish, is think about this, Trish. I mean, you and I know each other for a couple of years now. Every time I show you SCUTA, the amount of things that we've done is ridiculous, correct?
Yes, it is.
And we're just continuously, improving this and adding more features into it. Our goal, Trish, our long vision goal, not a long vision goal. If we had a vision statement, it's really to improve school counseling and student success. That's really kind of like what we're looking at. And anything that we could do for you, if there's a function that you don't have that you would like, if there's a graph that you don't have that you would like, if there's an ability that you don't have that you would like, we're here to implement them. And some of our best features come from requests from school counselors. So
Okay, one more question.
yes.
To clarify, there is no sync with SIS, but SCUTA communicates with SIS.
Correct. In other words, here's the thing about student information support systems, okay? Number one, what you find out is you've got IT departments that are great, and you have IT departments that are terrible. At some point with the terrible, I mean, you do what you need, what you can do. In some cases, you can't satisfy everybody, right? So as far as the data from the students go, here's the situation that is commonly, that we hear commonly. How often can we update the student record? You could do that as often as you want. If we're working with the IT department, they can have a batch that runs every day, every night, and it'll update. Now, we've done this a handful of times. We check to see how many times they're actually used. Almost never really used. So there's theory and then there's reality. The simplest way of importing students is through an Excel, through a CSV file. It's a once and done thing. New students can be created just like this. You can come here and I can say, here, Adam Sandler, whatever, and click on new, and you just created it. You can create a new lesson the same way. You could come here, do counseling and group, and I'm going to say my new lesson. So you don't need to go anywhere else. And if you go into students and lessons now, you'll see now that we have my new lesson. So everything's really easy in creating. So what we think the number one solution really is, if you're not looking at integrating grades and attendance and all that kind of stuff with the background, I think just simply importing the CSV file from the Student Information Support System is great. The disadvantages that we hear from people if we integrate with the Student Information Support System is sometimes they don't want us to integrate. They don't want our information to be on the same link to their Student Information Support System. Regardless, for your own ease of mind, any confidential information you enter, and let me show you specifically examples. If you go to the calendar and you're picking, here, you're typing something, this is encrypted before it's stored into the database. So even if we gave somebody the database, it's encrypted. When you look over here and you see that little lockbox, our communication right now with the server is encrypted. So everything that goes through the internet is encrypted, and your personal information, student names and all that stuff is doubly encrypted. So I think, our background is dealing with the stock market and hedge funds and stuff like that, and, encrypting and confidentiality are key items there too. What else?
Well, if that's the case, I should have been seeking your advice a month ago on other issues. Oh.
Yeah, well, I would have taken my own advice too.
Yeah. Steve, this is amazing. It's really incredible. I'm reading notes that say people just want to go off and play with it for a while.
No problem. Everybody can sign up for free. All you need to do, and I'll just show you real quick how hard. Here where it says try for free, just click here and type in your email address. and then specify who you are, first name, phone number, and the phone number is only so that if we need to get in touch with you, that in case of emergency, you're saying, hey, can someone get in touch with us? We'll look up to see if there's a phone number, and the human will actually call you instead of just a text. You click here, and that's it. Boom. Oh, the username's taken. You can modify the username then, and that's it. And now it's going to send you an email and tell you, hey, you could log in. That's the process.
So we have a couple of people, I've already told them, but I want to make sure they hear it. They want to clarify that any school that Hatching Results is working with who is going to apply for RAMP gets SCUTA for free.
Let me ask you a question, Trish. How many schools are we talking about? It's not like thousands of schools, right?
No, that's the question. Yeah, that's what we have to figure out. So
Right.
I know our trainers are getting it. They're going to get expert at it. And what I put in the thing here was, let me know which schools that you think are ready. Because I wouldn't want to give it to people who aren't ready. Like in our training, some districts are just beginning and they're not anywhere near ready for this.
Yes.
Others really would love it.
Well, let me just say one more thing. The reality of it is that everything that you need except, let me log in so that you can see. If you look, for example, here under Vision, right? The only thing that we enable with the ramp, because I have ramp on now, is reflection. Okay? So all the other items, most of the other items are already here. So when you're looking at the ramp version, there are added reports and everything that get generated just for the ramp version, right? But the majority of things that you have are already here. So you won't have this part enabled, okay? So SCUTA Max has everything that people need to get ready for ramp. It's only when you're going to be applying for ramp that you need, that year that you need to apply for ramp, you will need to get the ramp license. And that license does not expire August 1st. It expires November 1st because of the October deadline.
Okay, so a couple of questions. So what we're getting is everything except the actual ramp one with the stars and the reflection.
Yes.
And then it says when you have multiple counselors at one school and you enter into the vision, mission, and goals, does it populate in all the schools or all the counselor screens or just on that one?
Well, here's what happens. The manager, we haven't touched manager. Managers can send things out to users. So if a manager sets the vision, for example, then he could send that to all of their users. Or the users just enter it on their own. Is that clarifying?
I answer it for you. I think that was Alexis. And then while we're waiting for Alexa to get back to me, let me ask a different question. When they sign up for free, how will you know that they're on my team? Is there a place where they can say that they're with us?
You're going to have to send me the emails, and then we will classify them as, pick other for school and say Hatching Results. But you know what? Don't do that. I mean, just sign up normally so that way you could use it for your school. And Trish, all you need to do is send us the emails, and we will classify them as Hatching Results people.
Okay, all right. We'll do that now. So we'll let people know, but it's only those who are going to be using that ramp version that need that one, maybe. And we're thinking about maybe, we can talk to people about including that in maybe some of our proposals moving forward with these districts.
Yeah, and I think that, right, and I think that, it would be great just to know, which people are from the Hatching Results, because, for example, we could actually give you add-ons also that for free, so that, you know what I mean? Right now with the free trial, which we're giving to everybody, so everybody's getting this for free, not just Hatching Results, everybody. We're also adding the appointments for free. So So, but for you guys, we do the Google Calendar, and we also have assessments too. And the assessment piece is great because I was talking to somebody in Vegas. We want to have the state assessments in here so that the users of SCUTA will be able to know how they should really be assessed and to use the appropriate tool with their administration so that their principals aren't, using their own home-blown tool to assess the school counselor when there is an appropriate tool available.
So, as Laura was saying, the Max is great, but the Ramp version is needed for the data year, correct?
No. Max has everything that you're going to need. As I'm saying, again, the only thing that the ramp part has are some forms that we don't have in the reports that you will automatically populate for the ramp review.
Got it. Okay. But if you add that on later, it's all in there and it's automatically populated.
Exactly. Not only that,
No point in getting that from the start that
correct. And let me show you one more thing. And I mean, I'm here, but I just want to make sure that I give you guys everything that I can. Very quickly, what Pro looks like. Okay, now this is Pro. Pro with surveys. Notice the only thing that it has is students and groups here. And when you go to the calendar, this is the exact same application we had before. When you come here and you create an event, it only has 2 categories. So it's a lot simpler. So for the people that are new and it's their first time, it might work out. It only shows you category and topic. It doesn't have the subtopics and all that kind of stuff. It's a simpler interface. Again, if you look here under school, it's just going to have surveys because I put the ad on. It's just going to have students and groups. As far as the part that you were talking about with the managers, let me just show you real quick a couple of slides. Well, we have it so that, okay, real quick, I'll show you the key graphs, the key parts that I think cover what you're saying. Here again, looking at, can everyone see the screen now, the PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Great. So how it integrates with the school counselors and the manager, they'll do the vision, the goals, the mission. And then it could go by school, by level, by school district, by state, by country. And it's like this. And we've got this. Let me just go right to, I didn't talk, and this is the university part, right? With the students, the schools, getting the data back and forth and doing the research, and that they get it for $50. The states, and we've got this. Did everybody see this part? Okay. Okay. And here, the pre and the post, this part, SML. Okay. And now here, for example, look at this. This is our use of time analysis, but notice here now, and I'm not showing you because I had permission to show something from somebody else, and I asked her again, and I didn't get a response because I wanted to show it live at your presentation, and she didn't respond to me, so I don't want to show it live, with her real data. But so that this addresses this is a manager license, for example. So you see here, this report is school district use of time analysis, and this is the use of time analysis. So now here you can pick school district, or you can pick high schools, middle schools, the schools, or the school counselors. And you could pick all hours or outside hours, and you can pick your time. So now this, for example, this school district has 220 different schools. Okay, so these were the hours, the frequency of the events, and this is for the whole school district. This is the annual use of time analysis for the whole school district. So what's cool about this, and again, because it's an average of all of them, it shows a little more, a little smoother. So you see that most people are doing the school counseling, the program planning and support at the beginning, July. August is the peak because school probably started somewhere soon. And then you've got the student contact. Here's the contact. Again, this is school district-wise. Here's use of time analysis for all high schools. And it's different. So when you look at the percentages here, this is 72%, which is lower than the 80. That's why you got crosses here. And here you've got when it breaks it down. So now you'll see for all the high schools, for example, the non-school counseling tasks, 31% was arrival dismissal. 21% of their non-school counseling time was standardized testing. 15 was scheduling, 10% paperwork, 504, and 70% other. What this graph allows you to do is to say, okay, instead of saying, I can't get my work done because of non-school counseling, the issue with saying I can't get my work done because of non-school counseling is you lost your audience when you said, I can't get my work done. Because in their mind, subliminally, they think you're incompetent. Using data shows here now, you could say, this is the data that we have. These are the items that are on my plate that are non-school counseling. We talk about minimizing that. Can you take one of these off my plate for me? Different conversation. And not only that, but here's the other thing that happens. And we hear this so often. When a school counselor approaches administration with a report like this, the first thing that they hear is, wow, I didn't know you were so technical. And now this gives you all the details. And the other thing that school counselors keep telling us is that when they show people these reports, a common thing to hear is, I never knew school counselors did so much. Here, a different one now. This is all middle schools and looking at, the differences. And again, same analysis for middle school, for elementary schools. Now, same thing. You'll see that, again, when you're looking at this detail. Now, this is 3% non-school counseling. This was actually, so if we look at this, within the school district, we went from 3% non-school counseling for elementary to 15% to 12%. So that's indicative of something, too. The referral sources. When you see, for example, Trish, when you see that the referral source as 70% student, right? What does that tell you? If the number one thing on the referral source is a student, it tells you that the students can go to the school counselor, right? And that they want to go to the school counselor. Contrary, if you saw that this was last, you could make inferences about that. Like, is the process of seeing the school counselor too difficult? Is the school counselor terrible? Right? Correct.
Initiating these things with students, and you can see that, then they're using data to make that decision.
Right. And now here the focus analysis, showing what the...
I would want to be able to pull up the data, just like I can on my database system, find my students who are, 15 credits short or 10 credits short or whatever the thing is, or who haven't filled out FAFSA or who haven't student in college app. There's things like that I want to be able to do that. I'm thinking like this doesn't have that capability yet, but if it could be morphed into that, then when you ask the students to come in to do it, what you're doing is you're aligning the data-driven needs with using the tool within getting results.
Our first integration, Trish, is going to be your friend in California.
I hope so.
No, it will be. So, excuse me? I don't know. He's got to tell me. So that's it. So basically, you could do the analysis again for all of these items, right? So, anything else?
My jaw is kind of wide, and I'm wanting to go play and have everybody in the team play. and I think we should schedule a time where we can give each other all of our feedback, summarize it, and then meet with you again and give you some feedback. There may be some very simple little things that can be very helpful to you and us that we're seeing in here.
So,
that are connecting to our trainings, connecting to our books. You know,
yep.
And especially now that we're writing the Tier 2 intervention book secondary. There's got to be a line for that too. So this is a great gift and a wonderful partnership, Steve. I'm so happy that we're doing this.
No problem, Trish. I'm happy too.
I'm really happy with you. I want to tell you and everybody out there that I don't know if you know Christian Moore from Y-Try. Steve, have you met Christian?
No.
Okay, well, he has an intervention program anyway. He also wanted to connect with us about something they're working on Y-Try, but there's a lot of people out there right now are trying to see how they can begin to partner together to do things, you know, that haven't had a chance to before because of COVID-19. And he is going to be sharing with us something I don't even know what it is yet at 1 o'clock, but if there's any of our team that really wants to join, they're more than welcome to. But if there's an alignment there with him, we'll be on the lookout for that because what he's providing is intervention curriculum.
Okay. Well, that's great.
But it may not be a direct alignment, but it's always nice to support each other, so I want to let you know about that.
Hey, Trish, somebody texted me. They want to look at appointments real quick. Okay. Sorry. So basically, the easiest way for appointments, first of all, you got to look to see that appointments are enabled, and you would accept them here. So let's say that we're going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll just put all days on for us so that we're good. Okay. So now we have all days, and it's from this date until I've got until May 2020. When you go to your profile, right here is school information. You can have the school website, and here you can have the appointment link. So if somebody here, I'm just going to click here. Can you guys take your picture here, and you'll be able to schedule an appointment. Now, for other people, here's the link. They could take the link and put the link on their own website so that the students could just click on it. And I'll show you then, Trish, I don't know if you were trying it, but if somebody could just tell us that they did it, I'll go and show you what the result of it is.
I'm trying, but it's making me turn in real addresses. Sorry. I was BSing it, but it's not on to me.
Okay.
Alright, it says next. You could not find the user of that email. Check again. I need a valid email, a different email than I put in.
Well, what email are you putting in?
I'll put in an answer results, but I was just putting one that popped up. Sorry, go on. Okay, now let's go. Could not find the user with that email. Please check the email.
Okay, so this is what you guys should do, right? So it should come here to requester, and you put that in, and now whatever, at gmail.com. And now I'm going to pick self, next, and student, I'm going to put Trish, and grade, I'm going to say 4th grade, and teacher, Mary. And I'm going to go next, and I'm going to select post-secondary planning, and it's high priority, and doing demo. And I'll pick a date here, and I'll pick the future, right? I could pick next available. I just picked next available, so it's telling me Monday the 30th at 7. I hit submit, and I'm done. So now, Monday the 30th, so I'll come in here, I'll go into my calendar, and now I'll go to Monday the 30th, and here's the event. I click on it, and here it's telling me that it's high priority, Trish, and it tells me all the details. And now I can come here and I can change it to counseling. And so I just created the event. So without having to do any input, I got all this information through the scheduler.
Yeah, for me, I was having trouble. It kept saying that I tried to hit the next button, but there's some hiccup on it because it was telling me it didn't like my emails. I don't know what it was, but.
Okay. All right. So that's where we are.
I could not find the user in that email. Check your email, and I must have done something wrong. I don't know what it was.
Oh, well, if you're entering the email, you got to put the school counselor's email. In other words, there's two ways of doing it. The other one is if you go to myscuta.com. And it says schedule an appointment. Here's where it's going to ask for the email. So the email would be scutademo@gmail.com to get to me.
Okay.
So now if we go here and I put SCUTA demo and it tells me who it is and I can select it and now I can go here because notice here I'm at 3 different schools. So the demo account's got 3 different schools that I could be at. So I specify next what school I want to be at. And I'll put George here, George. And the email at gmail.com. And I am administrator and Fred. And grade, first grade, and teacher, Mary. And next, and likes ice cream. And medium, and it's attendance. And I'm going to go next, available. And I'm actually going to make it 10 a.m. And I hit send. Congratulations, I've got it. So if I come here and I go to the calendar, next week. Oh, I put it in the wrong school, so I've got it in the other account. So, okay. Are there any other questions?
I want to set up a call to do debriefing with you at some point.
Okay.
How long do you guys want? Can you guys text in there? How long do you guys want to play with it before we get feedback? Would a week be enough time, guys? If anybody types anything. Because, I just, at least somebody said, yeah, well, fellas are doing anything else right now. Of course, they are still doing counseling from home. I'm just wondering, Steve, my question is, when you take on new schools, who's the person that goes in and helps the school to figure out how to do all this? Do you have a whole team of people?
What we do is the following. When a manager gets the account, as soon as they sign up for the manager account, they're in their profile, just like this. Here, let me just find the manager that I could show you real quick. My account, for example, and you could specify next available. So right in the profile is where you're able to specify when you want training. So this is training for the managers and training for the school counselors. Okay, so what we do is we do the training for the school counselor. First, we work with the manager to set up their users. So that's where they're going to go into their user account and import their users. So this is where, so here, for example, there's, whatever it is, this is where they import their users. And then this is what I was saying before about the school district accounts and being able to get information about everything. So, so that's when they log in, they create their account for, that's when they specify where they want the training. So as soon as they get it, they're able to get their training spot. So they specify, and I didn't show you this report. So this is like what you were saying before. This is for all the whole school district. So the squares are the levels, that's high school, and you can see how it's up and down and everything. And if you go to the user time analysis, now this is live, so you could go by high school here and all hours. And that's from, this is the last month. So if you go for this school year, it takes a little bit longer because of all the schools and everything. It's all cloud-based. And you can go now to the, so that's for the whole, that's for all the high schools. And if you wanted to change to primary schools or elementary schools, yeah, it would be interesting. We haven't done, I have, I've got some, and I actually have some global here. I'll log out of this and I'll show you that too. Let me just go over here and bring it up. I got 2 accounts open up here, 3, okay. Log in, and let's go in here. And if I go here, for example, yeah, I don't really have something that had, but I understand what you're saying. And when we're done with the items that are really important to us right now, we'll do that. Sure. Well, right now I think we're staying at home pretty much. So, right. So yeah, whenever you, I'm pretty free, so we can arrange it anytime you want to call.
Okay, let me ask everybody to get back to us. We'll send out something and see how much time they need. I mean, really, we don't need to deep dive it too much to get an idea of what we can use it for. It takes some time, though, to really figure out how best to...
Yeah, and the survey part, I mean, we haven't released the survey out yet, the survey part, but everything else is out there. So we're integrating the survey part into the application and updating the ramp stuff for that too. So everything's kind of automated.
Great, but how they spend their time is one thing. What difference did it make is what I care about.
Right, so right.
That's where I would love to spend my time, and maybe we can have a call just centered around that.
Yeah. Okay.
What is impossible? How might we be able to partner to integrate some things? Another thing I noticed, another thing I want to share with you is we do have people working on curriculum lessons at this time. So it's
great.
Maybe we have lessons we could upload that would just be used only in that district. Would that be possible?
Definitely. If you've noticed, like in the here, school. Oh, I've got, okay. I've got Pro here, and it doesn't have lessons enabled. I'd have to enable it. But what we have is we've got your own lessons, we've got shared lessons, and we've got premium lessons. We could put yours in premium lessons.
Okay, that's great. Because that way they might be able to give counselors who are working from home right now an opportunity to be able to share with some students, their curriculum, but I don't know how it works yet. So I got to be thoughtful about it. I need some time to process, but you give me a lot to think about.
Okay. No problem. Well, thank you everybody for your time, and you're an
incredibly generous, wonderful man, and I want to thank you on behalf of everybody for the team. They're all writing lots of thank yous, and they're appreciating you.
Well, I just want to apologize for the bad intro and the technical difficulties. You think I'm a technical geek, I would have had that under control, but I didn't.
That's not a problem. I like that you're human like the rest of us. It works out great.
Sounds good. Thanks, Trish.
Love you.
Love you too, baby. Take care. Bye.